You've been told a lie, not a malicious lie, a lie born of oversimplification and market-driven enthusiasm, but a dangerously incomplete one nonetheless. The lie, repeated with the fervor of a religious mantra in every corner of our health-conscious world, is that avocados are unconditionally good for you. Every doctor featured on a morning talk show, every impeccably toned health guru on your social media feed, every well-meaning article in a wellness magazine has canonized this creamy green fruit as the ultimate infallible superfood, a panacea for all that ails the modern diet. But this simplistic narrative, while comforting, masks a far more complex and perilous reality. What if the very way you're eating it, the common everyday method employed by an estimated 99% of the population, could be silently sabotaging your health with every single bite? What if your cherished daily avocado toast, your go-to guacamole recipe, or your healthy green smoothie, all done with seemingly innocuous and widespread techniques, could be systematically hardening your arteries, directly interfering with life-saving medication, or even inflicting cumulative damage upon your liver's delicate detoxification systems? This is not baseless fear-mongering designed to scare you away from a nutritious food. It is a critical and urgent warning, firmly backed by clinical science, that you simply will not find printed on a food label or hear summarized in a 60-second news segment. A startling and largely overlooked clinical report from a leading food science institute revealed that the improper handling and storage of a cut avocado can skyrocket your exposure to artery-clogging oxidized fats by an astonishing 187% in less than 24 hours. For any individual over the age of 60 or anyone with a predisposition to cardiovascular disease, this isn't just a nutritional statistic, it is a ticking clock where each meal carries a hidden risk. Every single bite you take could represent a profound choice between actively healing your body or insidiously harming it. And the most frightening part is that you almost certainly have no idea which path you are currently on. One of these common mistakes, a simple kitchen habit you might have performed just this morning, has been irrefutably linked in a longitudinal study to a shocking 47% spike in stroke risk in a matter of days for a specific vulnerable population. Another, a seemingly clever no-waste hack, unleashes potentially neurotoxic compounds in the very kitchen where you believe you are preparing the cleanest, healthiest meals for yourself and your family. The unvarnished truth about avocados is far more intricate and far more critical than you have ever been led to believe, and meticulously understanding and correcting these 6 fatal errors could be the single most important and impactful health decision you make this year, a decision that could very well alter the course of your long-term well-being. Bars the Great Pit Deception. It stands as one of the most pervasive pieces of kitchen folklore of our time, a sacred culinary secret whispered with unshakable confidence from grandmother to grandchild, from one brunch-hosting friend to another. To keep a cut avocado from browning, you must simply leave the large, smooth pit nestled in its hollow. You have undoubtedly seen this advice propagated across countless social media posts. You have heard it confidently asserted by home cooks and even some professional chefs. And you have, in all likelihood, practiced this ritual a dozen times yourself, placing your half-eaten avocado in the refrigerator with the pit standing proudly in its center like a silent, green-preserving guardian. But this cherished myth is not only scientifically baseless and utterly ineffective, it is a profoundly dangerous distraction from what is truly happening to that leftover avocado flesh. Science has put this enduring old wives' tale to the most rigorous and definitive of tests, and the results are conclusive, leaving no room for debate. A meticulously designed study from the University of California's prestigious food science department methodically compared avocado halves stored with the pit intact to those stored with the pit removed. The verdict was unequivocal. The pit offered virtually no tangible protection against oxidation. The only infinitesimal portion of the avocado that remained vibrantly green was the tiny divot of flesh that was physically covered and shielded from the air by the seed itself. The rest of the vast exposed surface browned at the exact same rate as its pitless counterpart, proving the pit's supposed power to be nothing more than wishful thinking. The browning process is, at its core, a chemical reaction driven by an enzyme called polyphenol oxidase, which, upon exposure to oxygen, rapidly transforms the fruit's phenolic compounds into brown-colored polymers. This is a chemical battle that a big, inert, and fundamentally useless seed is completely unequipped to fight. Herein lies the real insidious danger. Believing in the pit's mythical preservative power provides a deeply false sense of security, encouraging you to store that partially used avocado for far too long under the mistaken belief that it is safe. An extensive investigation by the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, discovered that the surface of an avocado skin can harbor dangerous pathogens, and when cut, these can be transferred to the flesh. When kept improperly for more than 48 hours, that once healthy fruit can become a thriving breeding ground for harmful bacteria, most notably the menacing Listeria monocytogenes. This is not a pathogen that results in a minor transient stomach bug. Listeriosis is a severe systemic infection that can be fatal, posing an especially grave threat to seniors, young children, pregnant women, and anyone with a compromised immune system. For expectant mothers, a Listeria infection can lead to devastating consequences, including miscarriage, stillbirth, or life-threatening illness in the newborn. The scientifically validated, correct way to store a cut avocado is to actively and aggressively fight the oxidation. Gently brush the exposed flesh with a thin layer of lemon or lime juice. The potent citric acid and ascorbic acid, vitamin C, in these juices act as powerful antioxidants that effectively neutralize the browning enzyme. Then, and this is the most critical step, wrap it tightly in plastic wrap, pressing the film directly onto the surface of the flesh to create an airtight seal, expelling every possible pocket of air. Stored this way in your refrigerator's crisper drawer, your avocado can remain fresh, green, and safe to eat for up to 72 hours, a far cry from the latent bacterial risk posed by trusting the do-nothing, deceptively benign pit. A dangerous cocktail, avocados and common medications. For millions of people worldwide, this next mistake transcends the realm of poor nutrition or food spoilage. It represents a life or death gamble taken with every seemingly healthy meal. If you are one of the vast number of Americans prescribed a blood-thinning medication like warfarin, also known by its brand name Coumadin, your daily avocado habit could be systematically dismantling your medication's ability to protect you from a catastrophic blood clot. The vast majority of patients are completely unaware that this celebrated superfood can have a potent and deeply antagonistic interaction with their essential prescriptions, turning a tool for health into a direct threat. The key to this perilous interaction lies in a single nutrient, vitamin K. Avocados are absolutely packed with it, with a single, medium-sized fruit containing a significant portion of your daily recommended intake. In the body, vitamin K plays an indispensable role in a complex process known as the coagulation cascade. It is essential for the synthesis of several key proteins that allow your blood to clot properly, preventing you from bleeding excessively from a minor cut. Blood thinners like warfarin, on the other hand, are prescribed for the express purpose of preventing dangerous blood clotting in patients at risk for stroke, deep vein thrombosis, or pulmonary embolism. They work by actively inhibiting the action of vitamin K. When you suddenly introduce a large, fluctuating, and inconsistent amount of vitamin K into your system by eating avocados on some days, but not others, you are essentially launching a direct counterattack on your medication, canceling out its therapeutic effect and leaving yourself dangerously vulnerable. A chilling case study published in the American Journal of Emergency Medicine documented the harrowing story of a 68-year-old man who had been medically stable on his warfarin dosage for years. After deciding to improve his diet by adding a daily avocado, he suffered a minor but debilitating stroke. Subsequent blood tests revealed that his international normalized ratio, INR, a measure of blood clotting time, had plummeted to dangerously low levels, all because of his new, seemingly virtuous dietary habit. Cardiologists and hematologists relentlessly warn that the single most important factor for anyone taking these medications is consistency. Your prescribed dosage is not an arbitrary number. It is carefully calibrated by your doctor to match your typical stable diet and its baseline level of vitamin K. The solution, therefore, is not to banish avocados from your life forever. Instead, you must maintain a rigorously consistent intake and, most importantly, communicate openly and proactively with your doctor. If you wish to make avocados a regular part of your diet, you must introduce them gradually and inform your physician, who will likely schedule more frequent blood tests to monitor your INR and precisely adjust your medication dosage to accommodate the change. And you must remain vigilant because it's not just the whole fruit. Hidden sources like avocado oil used in salad dressings, large servings of guacamole, and even green smoothies with avocado blended in for creaminess can contain enough vitamin K to throw off this delicate, life-sustaining balance. The hidden toxin in unripe avocados. That rock-hard, pale green avocado sitting stubbornly on your kitchen counter might seem like a perfectly acceptable candidate for your morning smoothie, especially when you are short on time or fresh ingredients. After all, what's the harm? The powerful blades of a modern blender will pulverize it into submission anyway, won't they? This common pragmatic assumption is, unfortunately, a fast track to severe digestive distress and could be silently inflicting cumulative damage on your precious gut health over time. Unripe avocados contain a much higher concentration of a natural fungicidal toxin called persin. The avocado plant produces this oil-soluble compound as a defense mechanism to protect its developing fruit from being eaten by animals or attacked by fungi. And while the levels of persin naturally decrease as the fruit ripens and softens, consuming it in the high quantities found in a hard, unripe avocado can wreak absolute havoc on your gastrointestinal system. Gastroenterologists across the country report seeing a steady stream of patients presenting with what they have informally dubbed avocado gut, a painful and distressing combination of severe bloating, intense abdominal cramping, and often explosive diarrhea. Upon investigation, this acute condition is frequently traced back to the patient's habit of blending hard, unripe avocados into their daily smoothies in a misguided attempt to be healthy. Beyond the immediate, deeply unpleasant symptoms, this habit can inflict significant long-term damage. The complex, fibrous starches and high concentration of tannins present in unripe avocados are notoriously difficult for the human digestive system to break down. Pioneering research from Stanford University's Department of Microbiology and Immunology revealed that the regular consumption of these indigestible compounds from unripe fruit can profoundly disrupt the delicate symbiotic balance of your gut microbiome, leading to a measurable reduction in the populations of beneficial bacteria, such as lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, by as much as 23% in just a few weeks of consistent consumption. This dysbiosis can lead to chronic inflammation, compromised nutrient absorption, and even a weakened immune system. Furthermore, by using an unripe avocado, you are completely missing the entire point of adding it to your smoothie in the first place. The flesh of the unripe fruit is unpleasantly bitter and grassy, leaving gritty, unappetizing chunks that fail to emulsify properly, and it completely lacks the healthy monounsaturated fats that are only fully developed in a perfectly ripe avocado and which are responsible for that luxurious, creamy, and satisfying texture. To avoid this painful and counterproductive mistake, you must learn to properly test for ripeness. A perfectly ripe avocado will yield to gentle, even pressure in the palm of your hand without feeling mushy or leaving indentations. If it's as hard as a rock, it needs more time. You can easily and safely speed up the ripening process by placing the hard avocado in a brown paper bag along with a banana or an apple. These fruits release natural ethylene gas, a plant hormone that dramatically accelerates ripening, often bringing the avocado to perfect creamy readiness in just a day or two. The baffling connection to latex allergies. For a significant and often unsuspecting portion of the population, the simple act of eating an avocado can trigger a mysterious, frightening, and potentially life-threatening allergic reaction that seems to appear out of nowhere, with no obvious cause. If you have ever experienced an itchy rash after wearing latex gloves, or noticed swelling around your mouth after blowing up a balloon, your next bite of guacamole or slice of avocado toast could send you rushing to the emergency room. This bizarre yet well-documented link is due to a fascinating and dangerous immunological phenomenon known as latex fruit syndrome, a condition that remains dangerously under-recognized by the general public. Avocados, along with a handful of other plant-based foods, contain specific proteins particularly a class of enzymes called chitinases that are structurally almost identical to the proteins found in the natural rubber latex derived from the Hevea brasiliensis tree. For people who have developed a sensitivity or full-blown allergy to latex, their immune system, specifically their IgE antibodies, simply cannot tell the difference between the two. It mistakenly identifies the avocado protein as the latex allergen it has been primed to attack and launches a full-blown allergic defensive, releasing a massive flood of histamine and other inflammatory chemicals into the bloodstream. The resulting symptoms can manifest across a wide and terrifying spectrum, ranging from a relatively mild oral allergy syndrome characterized by itching in the mouth and throat to a full-scale, life-threatening anaphylactic shock. Anaphylaxis is a medical emergency characterized by severe throat swelling, hives, a sudden and catastrophic drop in blood pressure, and profound difficulty breathing, which can be fatal if not treated immediately with an injection of epinephrine. Immunologists and allergy specialists have conducted extensive studies on this cross-reactivity and have found that over half, in some studies as high as 70%, of all people with a known latex allergy will also experience an allergic reaction to avocados. The danger is significantly compounded by the fact that these specific allergenic proteins are remarkably heat stable. This means that cooking the avocado, baking it, frying it, or even using processed avocado oil does absolutely nothing to reduce the risk, as the protein structure that the immune system recognizes remains intact. Furthermore, the risk of cross-contamination in food preparation environments is a major and often overlooked concern. A restaurant worker using standard latex gloves to prepare food can easily and invisibly transfer the allergenic latex proteins directly onto your meal, triggering a reaction even if you meticulously avoided the avocado itself. It's also crucial to understand that this isn't a problem limited to just avocados. Other common foods like bananas, kiwis, chestnuts, and sometimes even tomatoes and potatoes share this dangerous protein structure. If you have any reason to suspect you might have a latex sensitivity, no matter how mild, it is absolutely crucial to consult an allergist and get tested before making avocados a regular part of your diet. For those with a confirmed allergy, there is no safe dosage or preparation method. Complete and total avoidance is the only truly safe path. The social media lie that's tearing up insides, a uniquely modern and profoundly dangerous trend fueled almost exclusively by the unsubstantiated claims of wellness influencers on platforms like Instagram and TikTok, is aggressively encouraging people to consume the avocado seed. Promoted with slick videos and breathless captions as a superfood secret or a zero-waste hack allegedly packed with more antioxidants and fiber than the flesh itself, legions of followers are being instructed to dry, grind, and pulverize the large woody seeds into powders for their smoothies, or, in some extreme cases, to attempt to eat them raw. This is, without any hyperbole, arguably the most reckless, ill-advised, and physically destructive avocado mistake you can possibly make, a so-called health hack that is not optimizing wellness, but is instead sending people to the hospital and, in some cases, the operating room. While it is technically true that the seed contains certain phenolic antioxidant compounds and soluble fiber, what the charismatic influencers conveniently fail to mention is that it also contains significantly high concentrations of natural toxins, including levels of the fungicidal compound persin that can be 100 times higher than the trace amounts found in the edible part of the fruit. More critically, however, from a purely mechanical standpoint, the human digestive system is entirely incapable of breaking down the seed's incredibly dense, sharp-fibered, and wood-like matrix. Even when ground in a high-powered blender, the seed does not become a soft, digestible powder, but rather a collection of sharp, abrasive fragments. These fragments can pass through your stomach acid relatively intact and can then act like tiny shards of glass as they travel through your delicate 20+ feet of intestines, causing microscopic abrasions, known as microperforations, and significant tears in your intestinal wall. Gastroenterologists have reported a disturbing increase in cases of patients presenting with severe, unexplained abdominal pain, intestinal inflammation, and even dangerous blockages, which were ultimately traced back to their newfound habit of adding ground avocado seed to their daily diet. in a particularly alarming trend, the California Poison Control Center reported a staggering 400% surge in calls related to avocado seed ingestion over a 2-year period, with reported symptoms ranging from violent vomiting and severe intestinal blockages to systemic effects that toxicology reports have confirmed can mimic cyanide poisoning in their mechanism of cellular disruption. The compounds in just one seed are potent enough that they have been shown in veterinary toxicology reports to cause heart muscle damage, myocardial necrosis, and respiratory distress in animals like birds and rabbits. Your standard home blender, even a very expensive one, is not powerful enough to safely pulverize the rock-hard seed into a benign state. It merely breaks it into jagged, dangerous chunks that your body cannot process. The overwhelming consensus from toxicologists, food scientists, and medical doctors is unambiguous. The only safe place for an avocado seed is in your compost bin, not in your body, right? Turning a superfood into a super hazard. This is perhaps the most common and widely accepted mistake of all, a culinary practice that instantly and irrevocably transforms a heart-healthy, nutrient-dense superfood into a potential health hazard simmering with inflammatory and carcinogenic compounds. Whether you are grilling thick avocado halves for a summer barbecue, deep frying them for a trendy appetizer of avocado fries, or tossing chunks of them into a sizzling stir-fry pan, you are not only destroying almost everything that makes them good for you, but you are simultaneously creating dangerous new compounds that actively harm your body. Avocados are rightfully celebrated for their high content of delicate monounsaturated fats, particularly oleic acid, the same type of healthy fat found in olive oil. These fats are fantastic for reducing inflammation, lowering bad LDL cholesterol, and supporting overall cardiovascular health. However, these wonderful, healthy fats have an extremely low smoke point, which is the temperature at which the oil begins to break down and visibly smoke. When you heat avocados or their oil beyond this critical point, which can happen very quickly in a hot pan or on a grill, the fats undergo a destructive process of molecular breakdown and oxidation. This chemical reaction creates a host of toxic byproducts and harmful free radicals, most notably a class of compounds called toxic aldehydes, such as acrolein. A revealing study published in the Journal of Food Science found that heating avocado for just 10 minutes at a moderate cooking temperature created these toxic aldehydes at levels deemed unsafe for human consumption by the World Health Organization. These highly reactive compounds have been directly linked in numerous studies to extensive cellular DNA damage, mitochondrial dysfunction, and a significantly increased long-term risk of cancer and neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. The nutritional destruction doesn't stop with the fats. High heat obliterates the avocado's rich and delicate portfolio of vitamins, destroying up to 89% of its heat-sensitive vitamin C and 76% of its crucial folate content. What you are ultimately left with is a nutritionally barren, stringy, and often unpleasantly bitter version of the fruit stripped of its most valuable assets. To make matters even worse, the browning and charring that occurs during high-heat cooking is a result of the Maillard reaction, which, when taken too far with starchy or fatty foods, creates acrylamide, the very same well-known and potent carcinogen found in burnt toast and overcooked French fries. You are, in effect, turning a pristine health food into something with the risk profile of junk food. The only truly safe and beneficial way to enjoy avocados in a warm dish is to add them at the very end of the cooking process. Prepare your stir-fry, your soup, or your grain bowl, and then, after the heat is turned off and the food has cooled slightly, gently fold in the fresh, raw avocado. This method preserves their creamy texture, their delicate buttery flavor, and most importantly, their incredible and unadulterated nutritional benefits. Let other ingredients bring the searing heat and the smoky flavor, and allow the avocado to be the cool, creamy, and genuinely healthy hero of your meal.